Tetramorph. A tetramorph from Greek tetra, four and morph, shape is a symbolic arrangement of four differing elements. Tetramorph, mythical creatures and beasts. Archaeological evidence exists showing that early man divided the four quarters of the horizon, or space, later a place of sacrifice, such as a temple, and attributed characteristics and spiritual qualities to each quarter. Alternatively, the composite elements were carved into mythic creatures such as the Egyptian, Greek and Babylonian sphinxes of antiquity, depicting bull-like bodies with birds' wings, lions' paws and human faces. Throughout world mythologies, descriptions of such composite creatures or two or three elements plus a human factor can be found. Tetramorphs exist throughout world cultures. A mundane object such as a weather vane in its characterization of the four quarters of the wind can be said to be tetramorphic. The pastime dice game of Ludo and playing card game of Contract Bridge exhibit tetramorphic qualities, as does the string quartet in which four voices engage in dialogue within the confines of the four-movement sonata structure. Christianity. The Christian tetramorph is a good example of how syncretism occurs in religious symbolism. The most developed of all foursomorphonesses in religious symbolism in Christianity is the tetramorph of the four evangelists. It originated from the Jewish prophet Ezekiel, who whilst in exile in Babylonia circa 550 BC, for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man, and the face of a lion, on the right side, and they four had the face of an ox on the left side, they four also had the face of an eagle. Ezekiel 1:10. Ezekiel's vision is based upon the astrology of the ancient Babylonians, in which the constellations of the zodiac Greek four circle of animals, signs of Aquarius the man/angel, Leo the lion, Taurus the bull and Scorpio the eagle are represented as being a throne for God himself, called a Merkaba in Hebrew. Known astrologically as the fixed cross, with the substitution of the scorpion, a creature little known outside the Mediterranean basin and which was replaced early on by the winged eagle. These four animal figures are also depicted in the early Christian evangelist St. John's Book of the Apocalypse, the last book of the New Testament, the Book of Revelation, in which the events of the end times are revealed. St. John alludes to Ezekiel's vision thus: "And the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast like a calf, and the third beast had a face as a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle." Revelation 4:7. Christian iconography in the form of illuminated manuscripts developed the tetramorph in artwork quite early. Examples of the four evangelists in the form of a tetramorph can be found from the 6th set, including notably in the Book of Kells. In theology, Saint Jerome attributed Christian virtues to each of the four animals of the Christian tetramorph. The four evangelists of the Gospels being invariably depicted as Saint Matthew represented by a winged man, Saint Luke by an ox, Saint Mark by a lion, and John the Evangelist by the eagle. At the center of many Christian tetramorphs is the Pantocrator, from Greek panol, crater, ruler, Jesus the Christ. Like the cross, the tetramorph symbolizes a highly complex system of relationships and elements which find their origin in the center. Thus the tetramorph alludes to the fifth element or quintessence, the element beyond the visible four natural elements of earth, air, water, and fire, to the invisible ether of the alchemists. The psychological equivalent of the tetramorph, The quaternity is explored in the writings of the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung. Used the symbolism of Babylonian astrology for his own prophetic purposes. Ezekiel describes his vision in which the likeness of 4 living creatures came out of the midst of the fire thus.